You know, I'll put it right over here. No, it's beautiful.
That was from the last day of the
That's good.
No relation.
Wasn't Doug involved with this stuff?
Yes, he was.
Yes, you are.
We should mention that.
Yes, we should.
Great partner in this.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. You see that beautiful milk? That's what we're here for. We're going to be discussing milk and whole milk and how good it is, how nourishing. And these people all come from beautiful farms. They have a wonderful life. And they're happier today than they would have been if we didn't sign this. So we'll be talking about that in a second. Will, could you read the first two items, and we're going to get going after that. And we'll be talking about a couple of things. We have some news on Iran, which we're going to talk about.
So shortly before you all came in, the President signed two executive actions. The first is the result of a Section 232 trade investigation into critical minerals supplies. What it does is it sets up a mechanism, a process by which the United States will seek to secure its international supply chain of critical minerals and critical mineral-derived products. The second is actually the result of another Section 232 trade investigation, this one into semiconductors. It sets up a two-phase process. Under the first phase, semiconductors that are imported into the United States of America that are not then used domestically to build out our AI or computing architecture here will be subject to a 25% tariff. So, for example, semiconductors that were transshipped through the United States to other foreign countries would be subject to that 25% tariff. But those are two executive actions that the President reviewed shortly before you all came in.
So they're going to sell chips, basically, and it's a chip. It's not the highest level, but it's a very good level. And China wants them, and other people want them, and we're going to be making 25% on the sale of those chips, basically. So we're allowing them to do it, but the United States is getting 25% of the chips in terms of the dollar value, and I think it's a very good deal, great deal. They're taking billions of dollars, and they've done a fantastic job. But it's not the Blackwell or the Rubin; those are the two top. But it's a very good chip, and people want it, and we think it's in our best interest to do. And we have some other little things to talk about. Maybe we'll start that first. Should I start that first? I think they're going to want me to. I have a feeling they're going to want me to. We have been notified, and pretty strongly, but we'll find out what that all means. But we've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping, and it's stopped, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset, but that's just gotten to me, some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution, which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days. Today was going to be the day of execution. And another piece of information that I think is very important is the leaker has been found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. They had a very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're out on their trail. But the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail. And will probably be in jail for a long time. Let's see what happens. So we'll let you know. We'll keep you apprised as to what's going to happen with that. And I want to thank all of the incredible people behind me, political people, both Republicans and Democrats, because they like whole milk. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whole milk is, right? It's a great thing. The senator was in the office many years ago. It feels like many years ago, but quite a while ago, right at the beginning of my first term.
Yeah, with Elijah Cummings.
Right, with Elijah, a very good person. You and I had a good relationship with him. At that time, I think you were a congressman, and you've made a lot of progress. You've done very well.
Some would disagree.
No, I don't disagree. I think you did a great job. But it's great to have you here again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So today I'm delighted to sign the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act into law, which is a very important thing for our farmers, and I think maybe more important for our people, the people that drink milk. This is the first bill signing of the new year, and it will ensure that millions of school-aged children have access to high-quality milk as we make America healthy again. I want to thank Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, who's behind me, Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Senators John Boozman and Mike Crapo, Roger Marshall, Peter Welch, as well as Representative G.T. Thompson and Tim Walberg, all great people. Also with us today is USDA National Nutrition Advisor Dr. Ben Carson, my friend for a long time. We went head to head, and it was not easy going head to head with Ben. He's great. He still looks good. That's because he drinks a lot of milk. And some of our nation's wonderful dairy farmers and their children. They're going to be farmers for a long time, we hope. As it currently stands, schools participating in the National School Lunch Program are only able to offer students low or non-fat milk options. That was changed during the Obama administration. A lot of people disagreed with it at the time. With this legislation, schools will finally be able to expand their offerings to include nutritious whole milk. It's actually a legal definition, whole milk. And it's whole with a W for those of you that have a problem. Most of the media will get that. This is the perfect follow-up to the new Real Food Pyramid, and Secretary Kennedy and Secretary Rollins announced that last week. You probably heard. This legislation also allows parents to directly request a substitute for milk for children with dairy intolerance. Previously, parents were required to submit a written statement from a doctor, but we're eliminating that rather ridiculous policy, allowing parents to choose what is best for their child, which is a big move. Hard to believe that that would be a big thing, but it is. And of course, these changes will be major victories for the American dairy farmers, who we love and who voted for me in great numbers, I will say. I think I got every one of them. In December, I also signed the Secure Rural Schools Reauthorization Act, and I'm proud to say that these two pieces of legislation will give school-aged children across the country the resources and support that they need, not just to succeed, but really to thrive in life and later on in life. So I want to ask Secretary Rollins to say a few things, and then I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy and Dr. Carson. I'd also like to hear from these great political leaders, senators, congressmen, if they'd like to say something. I'd be honored. So, Brooke, do you want to start?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And what a joy and an honor it is to be here. I feel like I have the best job in the world with representing all of these farmers. And Mr. President, not in our lifetime, has been a president who loves and supports our farmers more, and certainly the dairy farmers. I want to thank all of our farmers here today, sir. Most of them are 5th and 6th generation. They represent states from all across our country, and bringing the children to and seeing what the next generation of dairy farmers looks like. The amazing thing is some of these farmers back here from Butler, Pennsylvania, he milks.
Where?
Butler, Pennsylvania.
I love Butler, I do.
Yeah, and they love you. They love you. But he milks about 40 to 60 cows. And then we have Jamie from Wisconsin, who milks about 5,000 cows. So they represent all across the spectrum.
Wow.
And what this means. And I think it's important to note that in the last year, your support for these American farmers, for rural America, the One Big Beautiful bill was the largest investment in rural America in history. I think that's important to note. The trade, and I see my friend Jameson Greer over there and Howard Letnick on this end. We've opened up more than 24 different markets. Milk exports, dairy exports are up 23% just in the last year. And when you think about the ag deficit that happened under Joe Biden and the 4 years, we went from a surplus of agriculture products when we left the first time to a $50 billion deficit when we came back.
Yep.
So these are massive, massive wins for America, and I think it's important to note that. I also want to note, and you said it as well, that over a decade ago, Michelle Obama in this very room, made an announcement on a short-sighted campaign to ditch the whole milk in schools, and that's what we're working to fix today. Last week, Bobby Kennedy and Ben Carson and Dr. Oz and the whole crew, sir, announced the Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030, which also reintroduced full-fat dairy into a healthy diet. And today, by signing this bill, Senator Marshall and Congressman Thompson and both, all the wonderful men to the right who worked so hard on this, Peter Welsh, it is a bipartisan issue, and understanding where we are in this country and how important the health of certainly our children are is so important. USDA is posting today the guidance. So we're signing the bill, and USDA, we're moving at Trump time, is posting today the new rulemaking that is necessary to get whole milk back into school lunches. So that's a really, really big deal
So how
too.
long will that take?
It should just take a few weeks, and then the milk starts moving in. So it's a big announcement, sir, for our schools and our children. And I know Secretary Kennedy will talk a little bit about the health issues, so I won't do that. I'll skip over that. You mentioned, and the last thing I'll say, I know we're here to sign the bill on whole milk, but Senator Crapo's work and our wonderful friend Doug LaMalfa, who we lost way too soon,
Right.
their work on securing Rural Schools Reauthorization Act, how important that too is for rural America. 700 eligible rural counties across the nation are now guaranteed funds for schools and roads and infrastructure. So sir, you say it all the time, those are your people. They voted for you and with us and saw your vision from the beginning. This is who we're here to support today, in addition to the whole milk for healthy schools, which will help all children. Just remember, eat real food and drink whole milk. What a joy again it is to be here, and I especially want to thank all of our incredible farmers for what you do. So sir, with that, I'll turn it over to Secretary Kennedy.
And just before you do that, how are we doing with food prices, bringing them down?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad you asked, because I brought a chart, and that just happened to be right behind me. So speaking of milk, milk is actually way down, and I know we're here to talk about that today.
It's
Obviously,
44%.
that's right, sir.
44% down. Milk, 44% down.
Eggs is way down, milk is way down. This is just since we took office, sir. Fresh whole chicken down 2%, cheese down, tomatoes down, butter down. Of course, eggs are way down, potatoes down almost 3%, fresh fruits down almost 3%. But this is just the beginning. And as we continue to bring the cost of farming down, bring the cost of inputs down, open up the markets, support our farmers, we'll see even more affordability moving forward.
And eggs are down 31%, so
Yeah.
it's really something. Where's Bobby?
Bobby's right here. I'm gonna switch with Bobby so
Right
we
here,
don't talk
Mr.
about
President.
it.
Go ahead, wherever you are. Go ahead. Good to see you. We like Bobby.
And I want to echo what Brooke said about finally having a president that sees the alignment between farm prosperity,
That's right.
good food policy, and the health of our children. These are common sense associations. Democrats have been talking about them for eons. Republicans have been talking about them. We finally have a president that is implementing these policies and getting real food to our children. Today, President Trump signs the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act of 2025, a long overdue correction to the school nutrition policy that puts children's health first. For years, Washington treated fat, especially saturated fat, as the enemy. It made a war on saturated fat. This is the peacetime president. He's made it 8.5 deals ending wars, and he's also ended the war on saturated fat. As a result, whole and 2% milk disappeared from school menus, even though science has never shown that whole milk harms children. Evidence increasingly shows the opposite. The panoply of nutrients in whole milk is critical to brain development and physical development in our children. Whole and 2% milk provide 13 essential ingredients critical for growth, development, immune system function, and overall health, including protein, calcium, vitamin D, and healthy fats. Yet since these milk options were removed more than a decade ago, school milk consumption and meal participation have declined dramatically. Today, between 68% and 94% of school-age boys and girls fail to meet recommended dairy intake, according to federal guidelines. When schools limit milk choices, the kids do not move to healthier substitutes. They move to caffeinated drinks, to sugar drinks, and to sweetened beverages with little or no nutritional value and the potential to wreak havoc on metabolic health, which is driving the chronic disease epidemic in our country. During the same period that whole milk was regulated out of lunchroom, rates of childhood obesity and diabetes rose significantly. Removing whole milk did not improve health, it damaged it. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, this law fixes that mistake. It allows schools in the National School Lunch Program to offer whole, reduced fat, low fat, or fat-free, flavored or unflavored, organic or conventional. It restores choice to schools, parents, and students and encourages consumption of nutrient-dense foods that kids will actually drink. The law also removes unnecessary bureaucracy by allowing parents or legal guardians to request milk substitutes without the necessity of involving a doctor. And it corrects a flawed technical rule by excluding fluid milk from saturated fat calculations that distorted school menus. Milk fat is not junk food. Treating it that way undermined nutrition and ignored the science. Last week, Secretary Rollins and I unveiled President Trump's new food pyramid and updated our dietary guidelines with a clear message: eat real food. This law puts that principle into action. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, I support this reform because it aligns federal policy with evidence-based nutrition, not ideology or dogma. Healthy kids need real food. They need real protein. They need healthy fats, and they need policies grounded in reality and the science. I want to thank President Trump again for his vision, for signing this bill, for continuing to put children's health first. This is exactly the kind of practical change that will make America healthy again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. We have some milk here. It's been sitting here for 5 days, so. It's from the original bottle, and I brought it so the press can have some. You can swig it all out of it. Remember the old days when we were kids, everybody shared a bottle? Today we tend not to do that, but if you'd like to, if you trust the person that you're drinking after, it's right here, it's yours, okay? It's semi-fresh, 5-6 days old. Thank you. So Ben Carson, special man, knows a lot about health. He looks better than ever, so Ben, how about it?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being interested in the health of the people. It's made a big difference in facilitating an atmosphere where the agencies can work together. Secretary Rollins, Secretary Kennedy, Marty McCary, Dr. Oz, the whole group, every week at least meeting once to talk about these things, and it's made a big difference. And I want to thank the dairy farmers. I know you guys have been in the doghouse for a little while. You're out of the doghouse as of today.
Yes, sir.
And, whole milk is a wonderful beverage. Good protein, we talk about real food. It is real food. Healthy fats, important nutrients. You look at vitamin D, you look at calcium, phosphorus, the things that are absolutely essential for bone development and for teeth. But as a neurosurgeon, the thing I really like is what the brain, what it does for the brain. You know, the brain starts to develop right after conception and adds millions of neurons every single day. Continues to do that right up until the mid to late 20s. Now, it's important what that brain is getting during the development. Is it getting soda or is it getting milk?
So milk would help your cognitive ability.
Absolutely. You can tell who's been
Take a
drinking milk.
cognitive test. I've taken a lot of them. I've aced every one of them because I drink milk.
It's good for it, and it shows.
Do you consider there to be a big difference in taste between what you are having and this is just, it just looks so good sitting there, right?
Yes, sir.
It
Yes,
looks
sir.
better. They stick. Go ahead, Ben,
Yeah,
sorry to
well,
interrupt you.
You know, when you go to school and you give the kids milk, real milk, they love it. When you pour this stuff that looks like, dish pan water, you don't particularly want that. It doesn't taste good either. So this is a great day. It's only a part of what's happening with our emphasis on health. you know, our longevity has been going down, and other industrialized nations it's been going up. It's because we haven't been paying attention to this. That has changed, and we want to thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you've done, too, for the country. I'd like to ask a few of our senators to say a couple of words. Maybe we should start with the Democrat in our midst. What do you think? Yeah,
Peter Welch.
How about Peter Welch? And
Yeah.
thank you very much for being here, Peter.
No, thank you. You know, our dairy farmers are so vitally important, and they have a way of life that transmits from one generation to another, and it's tougher than ever for our dairy farmers in Vermont, our dairy farmers in Pennsylvania and others, South Carolina or here. But they're the lifeblood of the community. Nobody works harder, and nobody does things that are better for our nutrition. And also for our kids, I'm in agreement. The kids having access to healthy milk is good milk, whole milk, is really good for them. And one of the things that I get very excited about, that really the Vermont farmers talked about, is they have their milk from their farm that then goes directly to many of our schools. And then kids come out to the farms and start seeing how milk is made, what farming is about. That's good for America. It's not a party deal. This has been a bipartisan effort. I appreciate working with my colleague, Senator Marshall, who did a great job, and GT when I was in the House. And Tim, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you, Peter.
President.
It's got to be like a 90-10 issue, another one of those 90-10. It's good to have you on our side. But it's a great issue, and it's a great thing to do, and we're very proud of it. We're very proud of our farmers. Senator, do you want to say a few words?
Sure, I'll be very brief. We all want to see you sign this bill. But I really appreciate you and Brooke bringing up the Secure Rural Schools legislation. This is critical legislation to our rural communities across this country, and we have to fight every couple of years to get it extended just a couple of years. And this extension we got this year went back to pick up a few years that we missed and is going to expire again at the end of the next year. And Mr. President and Secretary, I'm going to encourage us to get back in here to sign a secure rural schools bill that is permanent. I want to set a goal, or hope that you'll set a goal with me to get that done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody? Please,
Mr. President.
Roger?
Yeah, Mr. President, thank you so much for having us here on behalf of Kansas dairy farmers. Thank you. Milk is the most wholesome, nutritious drink known to humankind. Not only is it full of essential nutrients, it's full of healthy fats as well as protein. As Dr. Carson pointed out, those healthy fats are what helps that brain develop and help you absorb the fat-soluble vitamins. The protein is why you drink milk and you're not hungry again in 30 minutes. And I have to point out that under the previous couple administrations ago, thanks to them, we have a whole generation of young adults who have osteopenia and osteoporosis because they never drank milk for an entire generation. So getting milk back in the schools is going to give us healthy bones and healthy minds. It sticks to your ribs, and it tastes great. Thanks for your leadership. Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you.
Anybody? Politically first, and then we're going to go to the farmers.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Mr. President, thank you so much. I want to ask Dr. Carson if there's an age limit on the cognitive ability. Drinking a whole lot more of this. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We literally have legislators here that have worked on this for years. This is something that's
Really?
been very, very difficult. You're able to help us
You
get
would
it
think
over
it
the-
would have been very easier, actually.
Exactly, but you were able to help us get it over the
Yeah.
finish line. You and your great team, Brooke, all of these people have done such a good job. Not only with this issue, but all that we're doing for the farm community, which is so, so very important. So thank you very, very much. And I know that you're going to continue to support farmers like you have.
We do, right from the
Since you
beginning.
were elected. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Mr. President, G.T. Thompson,
Yep.
Chairman of the House Agriculture Committee. I have been working on this bill for 15 years, and thank you.
That's amazing.
Because of your support and your leadership, we were able to get this across the line.
It's such a shame that it would be so hard. You think it would be-
Common sense
Yeah, it's common
was
sense.
lost, and in the benefits today go to those precious children that we see over there. It goes to our dairy farm families who work so hard 7 days a week. There's no day off for a dairy farmer. And quite frankly, our rural communities who, when the misguided move to take whole milk and 2% milk and flavor out of the schools We lost a generation, probably 2 generations of milk drinkers, and it devastated those rural communities because you lose the dairy farms, then you lose all the supplies, businesses, and then you lose grocery stores, and you lose community pharmacies. Well, that day ends today with your signature, and we reverse that trend and we build a robust rural economy. And I'll just close with what will be the theme of my next bumper sticker, whole milk heals.
That's right, that's what they say. I think it's probably true. Anybody else?
Well, Mr. President, as Chairman of Education and Workforce Committee, this fits, with the kids, with what they can enjoy in school and grow from. Also to have G.T. Thompson, the sponsor of the bill, on that committee, and I think I've worked with you for 15 years, but we finally got it done in committee. This makes an impact for education, for our workforce, the health that's there, and the reality of what this farming industry does. I live in the most diverse farm district in Michigan. Thanks for coming to Michigan
Yeah,
yesterday.
it was great.
And my kids were raised on, it's legal now, raw milk, taken right out of the bulk tank. And my oldest son became a Pulitzer-nominated journalist for the Chicago Tribune, and I think the milk did it, right?
I think so.
Then I have the benefit of Dr. Carson being a graduate of Andrews University in my district. So all of that goes together. Thank you for signing
Thank you
this.
very
It'll make a
much.
difference.
Great job. So how about a couple of the farmers? Would anybody like to speak? Would you
Yeah.
like to, do you want to just say how great milk is?
It's so amazing.
That's good.
Yes, Mr. President, we want to say thank you for doing this. It's been stated several times how long this took, and so thank you for your support and leadership in finally making this happen. As a mom and a dairy farmer, this isn't just a big win for the dairy farm families across the country, but as it's been said, the millions of school-aged kids that depend on school lunches for their nutrition and to fuel their bodies. So thank you.
So they've been fighting this for years then, huh?
15 years.
Well, have you
Before
been
these
fighting it?
kids.
You're too young to be fighting it. Have you been fighting it for that long?
For a while, we've been fighting it. I mean, I think I speak for everybody. It's been a long time coming, so your leadership is it.
Well, it's great. I had no idea you would. Just seems to make sense, right? It's hard to believe. When you said 15 years, I said, you have to be kidding. It's, government is tough. Government can be very tough. How about you? Would you like to say something?
So we are very grateful and thankful that you passed this bill because it is common sense as to what we should be consuming.
Right.
Whole foods and whole milk. Unfortunately, that has not been the case for a few years. But research shows and our MAHA movements have been taking the right steps to make America healthy. And our children are growing into active teenagers and athletes. And what do they need? They need strong bones. They need the energy. They need the healthy muscles. And so we are so grateful that the science is there and we are actually at the right point and the right step making sure America is healthy. So we are very thankful.
It's so great. I look forward to getting it all the time. I open a refrigerator, I say milk with rice and milk with water and milk with everything. And I say, what kind of milk is it? That's what I like right there. That's great. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Please, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Patrice Enruca. I am the Center Director at the Independent Women's Forum. I work on economic policies,
Right.
but I'm also a mom of boys. As you can see, this is Jesse. Jesse, want to say your name and age?
My name is Jesse. I am 6 years old. I am 7 years old. I want to be an engineer when I grow up. I am a first grader. I also know where does milk come from.
Good job.
Where does it come from?
So first farmers milk it, and then next they put it into a coal tank, and then they to take the germs out, they put it very hot, and then they put it back in the coal tank, and then they haul it to somewhere that is cold in a big refrigerator.
What, that is unbelievable. I'm going to give him a medal. Everybody, these guys want it. Let me tell you, politicians want it. I'm going to give that to you. Is that okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's
and
beautiful.
This is Daniel,
Wow.
his younger brother. Daniel, how old are you?
5.
And what grade are you in?
kindergarten.
And these boys are involved in sports. They go to a public school in the Maryland area, and many of their friends are drinking the kind of options that they don't really like. And so it's good that as they get to drink a glass of milk every morning, their friends will be able to drink that at school as well. So thank you very much for what you're doing for public school kids in particular.
Beautiful people. Thank you very much. Doing a great job, too.
Thank you.
Please.
I'm Amber Schwartz. I'm also with Independent Women, but I'm here with my son, Luke, who is 13 years old. We're in Alexandria, Virginia. Luke needs a lot of protein right now to grow. In fact, his doctor just told us between 60 and 70 grams a week. And I can't feed him a whole chicken every day, so supplementing with milk is really helping us. Unfortunately, at school, they've offered skim milk and chocolate, and he does not like either. And so he has been turning to the juice boxes and other drinks that have sugar. And so thank you for giving him the opportunity, and parents too, to make a choice.
That's great. That's really great. How about you?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm
Nice,
the one.
beautiful red hair. Look at that.
I tried to match here, so.
Yes.
But I'm the aforementioned one from Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So you know that place very well.
I do.
And we still love you. So.
Thank you.
But Mr.
Thank
President, I was thinking last night when I was milking what I was going to say, and I thought, well, this is such a monumental day in agriculture, not just dairy farmers, but for all of agriculture, because this helps me as a producer, helps the processors. It also helps these kids here. So it's good all around, and this is perfect legislation, a great day for America is what this is.
Thank you very much. Beautifully said, and we appreciate it. And it is a great place that you come from. I love it. Please.
Mr. President, thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I think this is about choices. This day's been a long time coming. We've been waiting on this for many years, and it's great that we're able to provide choices now in schools with whole milk. Well, thank you for that, and thank you for everything that you do for the dairy industry. That us dairy farmers produce valuable nutrients every day for consumers.
So you're going to need to produce more milk because you're not mixing it up with all sorts of things, right?
That's right.
That's great. That's a big. How much of an increase will that be? Do you have any idea?
Be pretty good.
A lot more.
A lot more. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great, boy. That's so good for the industry.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe you had to wait so long.
Yep. So thank you.
Would you like to say something?
Mr. President, I'd like to thank you again for your support behind this, and the gentleman standing behind you. Like you said, we worked 15 years on it. I advocate for our industry a lot out in the community, and I know I've been into high schools, I've been in the middle schools where the students want milk. I did a taste test one time at a high school where we gave them whole milk versus the skim milk their school was giving them. The kids love the whole milk. So just your all support behind us, your support getting it pushed through, I really appreciate what you've done and what the gentleman behind you were able to do.
We support the farmer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The farmer knows what's right, better than anybody else. Bobby would tell you that. I mean, the farmer, they know what's right.
Yes, sir.
Especially when it comes to things like this.
We
Sorry
do.
it took so long. It was 15 years. I can't believe it. Howard, would you like to say something?
What's amazing is that the president has the leadership and common sense to drive the right outcomes. Why should kids not be given the choice to drink whole milk? How is that even possible? So it's amazing to work for you because you just own common sense and you're driving it through our economy, you're driving it through the farmers. You've got great leadership in Secretary Rollins and Secretary Kennedy, and it's great fun to be here because, I mean, think of today. I mean, how much fun is this? It's just common sense. Come on.
Like the Oval Office. It's just
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Even the media, they come here and they're here a lot, but it's sort of like you're in the Oval Office. It's the whole ballgame. It all begins and ends and then re-begins here. There is no place like it, right?
Yes,
Isn't that exciting? There's no place like it. If you love the country especially, there's no place like it. So thank you. Thank you, Howard, very much. So let's sign it. Should I sign it?
Yes, sir.
Your last chance. We could go another 15 years. Let's do it. Do it?
You go stand right there.
Come on, right over here. We have to do a good one here. This is right?
Yes, sir.
This is an important one for me. Okay, not bad. Not bad. See, guys, You can never make a mistake. They made a lot of mistakes. Anyway, here it is. Thank you. Thank you all very much. You have it?
Thank you.
Gonna
Thank
drink a lot?
you.
I'm gonna start drinking a lot of milk.
We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. Here, hold that on for a little while. You'll give it to us later, okay? It's a good job you did.
That's great.
So, any questions on what we just signed, please?
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Yeah, let's talk about this first.
I've got one on the milk. Coming from a family, my dad was a dairy engineer from Texas Tech
So you're a
University.
big, strong guy.
There it is. Drink lots of whole milk in my day. Would you look at this as being a shift from what the industry kind of went woke with the oat milk and the almond
It's
milk?
going the exact, it's amazing.
It's going exactly the opposite direction. Let's talk about the impact of dairy farmers on this whole milk.
There are a lot of changes being made in the last year, as you know. We're still a little bit less than a year. I think there's probably never been a year like this for a president or for a country. We have tremendous success. We've had success with everything we've done. And the economy now is coming back. And here's an example of farmers. They're going to be working harder to produce because it's not going to be watered down by something. And it's great to see it. And if you'd like a zip of that, I'd give it to you. It's actually been here. It's only been here for a few minutes before we started. It's not 5 days. 5 days and open, right? No, it's not. But it's an honor. What we've done in the country in the last year, it's incredible. All of us together. It's incredible. So I appreciate the question.
Mr. President, on Iran, you said that the killing has stopped. Who told you that the killings have stopped there? And if it's the Iranian regime?
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place. And we're going to find out. I mean, I'll find out after this. You'll find out. But we've been told on good authority, and I hope it's true. Who knows, right? Who knows?
We've seen the body bags, so how do you trust
No,
them?
you've seen that over the last few days, and they said people were shooting at them with guns, and they were shooting back, and you know, it's one of those things. But they told me that there'll be no executions, and so I hope that's true.
Does this mean military action is now off the table against Iran?
Well, we're going to watch it and see what the process is, but we were given a very good statement by people that are aware of what's going on.
Is still considering military action?
When they say no executions, everyone is talking about a lot of executions were taking place today. We were just told no executions. I hope that's true. That's a big thing. Yes, ma'am.
The Foreign Minister of Greenland, she said a while ago in a press conference in an embassy of Denmark that she made very clear in the meeting that happened here in the White House what are their limits. She also said that it was a very respectful meeting. Are those limits going to be respected?
Well, we're going to see what happens with Greenland. We need Greenland for national security, so we're going to see what happens. They're going to brief me on the meeting right after this conference. In fact, the sooner I get you out, the faster I'm going to know exactly what happened. But we have a very good relationship with Denmark, as you know. We'll see. But, you know, we're doing the Golden Dome. We're doing a lot of things, and we really need it. If we don't go in, Russia's going to go in, and China's going to go in. And there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it, but we can do everything about it.
More in what they can do there?
Well, we're going to see. I mean, look, we're going to see what happens, but we need it. You know, I'm not the first one. This was talked about by President Truman, and 40 years before President Truman, they were talking about it. They've been talking about this for 100 years. This is not anything so new. A lot of people don't realize that, but this was a hot subject. Probably not as hot as it is now, but it was a hot subject for a long time. We need it for national security, and that includes for Europe. And I spoke with, as you know, Mark, the head of NATO, and he really wants to see something happen. It's very important for national security.
It's being reported that Health and Human Services released frozen funds to Planned Parenthood. I'm wondering why this happened and why Planned Parenthood is receiving any federal funds.
I don't know anything about that. Bobby, do you know anything about that?
What was the question?
It's being reported that frozen funds were released to Planned Parenthood in December by HHS. I'm wondering why that happened.
I haven't heard
not heard that.
I have not heard that.
Mr. President, on NATO, right now it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country.
Well, you're saying that.
Are you saying that? Would you do that?
No, you're saying that. I didn't say it. No, you're telling me that that's what I'm
I
gonna
think
do.
we're-
You don't know what I'm gonna do.
So what are the options?
Your
then?
network
Because
doesn't know
the-
either.
The Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right
Well,
now?
I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not gonna give up options, but it's very important. Greenland's very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Denmark fought alongside the United States in both Afghanistan
Thank you
and
for telling me
Iraq.
that. I appreciate it.
But
I have a very good relationship
they're
with
an
Denmark,
ally
and
of
we'll
the
see how it
United
all
States.
works out. I think something will work out. Yeah.
Venezuela, Cabello, the de facto #2 in Venezuela right now, he seemed pretty reluctant to work with the U.S. And obviously he's
With us, they just gave us 50 million
Cabello,
barrels of oil.
the #2, the Venezuela security
Well, I don't
chief.
know. I know the #1. We just had a great conversation today, and she's a terrific person. I mean, she's somebody that we've worked with very well. Marco Rubio is dealing with her. I dealt with her this morning. We had a long call. We discussed a lot of things, and I think we're getting along very well with Venezuela. Yeah.
Mr. President, created a new Assistant Attorney General position dedicated to rooting out fraud.
Yeah, he's fantastic. The person is fantastic.
Who is it?
It's a he.
When are you
I
gonna
will
announce
tell you maybe within minutes. I mean, I don't know if it's appropriate to say yet because we're going through a process, but we have chosen a person who's very tough, very smart, very fair.
You gave a speech yesterday in Michigan about how you've recalibrated the American economy to work for workers, U.S. auto factories. We've seen core inflation's completely tamed. You lowered the trade deficit to the lowest amount since 2009. American exports are growing, but we're also waiting on the Supreme Court case with the tariffs. Given the success that you've had in the first 12 months, what is at stake in this case,
It's
sir?
a little bit like whole milk. I can't believe we even have a case. This was a case started by very China-centric people and also anti-American people, frankly, people that don't want us to do well. Tariffs have helped us stop 8 wars. They've helped us get the best trade numbers we've ever had. They've helped us get $18 trillion brought into the country. And maybe above all else, they've given us tremendous national security. Just the threat of tariffs. You saw that just yesterday when I put tariffs on a certain country. We won't talk about that country, but you know who it is, based on the fact that if you do business with that country, it's going to make them, it's going to bring them to the table a lot faster. So we have made hundreds of billions of dollars with tariffs. We have very little inflation. Think of it, inflation's gone down and productivity, everything has gone up. We've never taken in money like we have. We've never had anywhere near $18 trillion invested in our country, neither has any other country. It's the biggest number by maybe 5 times. 5 times, not 5%, 5 times. Nobody's ever seen numbers like this. We have plants going up. You mentioned I was in Michigan yesterday. I was at the Ford plant where they make the Ford 150. It's one of the original plants. It was from before World War I. It's a giant plant. That plant was probably going to be closed. And 2 years ago, they were doing very poorly. And now they just announced yesterday that they're going to go 24 hours around the clock. 3 shifts, which they rarely do. That's Ford, and Ford's having the best numbers they've ever had. General Motors having the best numbers they've ever had. Stellantis, which hasn't been here, is now investing billions, tens of billions of dollars on building in the country. We're building auto plants all over the country. We're building AI all over the country. We're leading China by a lot, and a lot of it has to do with tariffs. That would be a very disappointing decision, and especially since the people that are fighting me are people that want China to do well. And we're doing great against China. We're doing great against everybody. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. As I say often, we're right now the hottest country anywhere in the world, and a year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Guys, thank you.
so stupid that wasn't a real. What's funny is like Facebook has had it for like 10 years.
No, and it didn't make any sense to them to just integrate it.
I remember when the Bernie campaign, they were like the only campaign I think I ever saw, like before this year good, like on Instagram, and it was like glitchy as hell, but it was like, I guess they just like use a phone as like a mirror or something. I didn't want to agree with it. Crop it specifically for Instagram, for instance.
So you can, and that's honestly, it does that, but I've noticed when I look at my phone, it doesn't matter, like if I tap the screen sometimes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Go crazy, so.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey Brandon and Sanford, how you doing?
It was like leaving to go outside for like the one.
Pretty good, man. I'm over here at HVCB, well, no, it's Studio A. And I'm doing cuts. I'm on CVC 3. You should see like the podium from the side. Yeah, you should see like a podium from the side. And chairs. And a bunch of chairs. And I'm panning right now. You should see me panning.
It's probably great for like house triangle stuff.
And now I'm pointing.
Like, there it is.
See it? All right, I'm talking on the right channel with the handheld mic because it's Blue Illusion. He's going to be asking us questions, I guess, on this mic. And then this is the, hold on. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a podium mic. That's on the, okay. All right, man. So, thanks, man.
Your wireless Wi-Fi to like the cloud system is really great. Like it has connectors that lets you do it. But they only this year came out with like a Wi-Fi like built. They're not like most wireless. They have like patents on that for like batteries and accessories. And they came out with like a wireless computer one. I bought Hollywood because I'm going to run that. I wanted to do it. Walk around like all the time monitor and like control cancel and zoom. Like, but that's not. And technically, if I spend $1 million that I don't have, I can do it. Yeah, do on. Well, I can do like a like replays thing. But the DJI. I forget. They're like professional cinema camera.
Yeah.
It's like $1 million. It's like the built-in. It's like literally just a camera on a gimbal, but there's no camera. Like it's just like basically a gimbal with a lens. Yeah, it's really nice and it's native for like moving stuff. But they have it where like it's all built into a monitor. Right. So you can do it. At the end of the day, I don't even have to. So like literally, yeah, just zoom in after that. Dude, what do you guys mind giving me a soundtrack?
I got you. Just shoot
That doesn't.
Would you like to listen?
No.
Oh, okay, you do it. You ready?
Yeah.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Tasia, is the Aaron, is this at the appropriate height? Aaron or Tasia? I was like, Kim is the eye for this, so she knows.
I don't know.
I think they said it's fine.
I think it's fine.
Cool.
You're about the same height as him, right?
A little taller, some would say.
Hinge would say.
Some would say that I'm 6'2", he's 5'10". I don't know. It's,
Well.
that was fine.
Sorry, can you talk to me a little more?
Yeah.
Who would say that?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Doing a mic check for the pool. Are you the pool? I don't know. Oh, okay. You good? Good?
People were sharing it on Twitter. I forget which outlet was sharing it, but it was like. It was just like, scratching head, Listen. No, Trump is tall. But he's not, listen.
He doesn't stand straight.
Yes.
Well, he can't, I mean, guys, he's 80, almost 80 years old, so like.
Our glorious healthy president can stand very straight.
The most straight.
He's the best pastor in the world.
Anyway,
Healthiest human being on the
microphones are
planet.
on, microphones are on.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Anyway.
Trump
Today
happened to be here today. I don't know what you're talking about.
they had a press conference about like milk.
Cool.
Milk.
It's important. Oh, they're so nice. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't even pretend and like just play
The
around.
microphone is like right there.
Or Gary said.
Has anything like ever been like really crazy that's like become a story because somebody said it online?
He in here?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope not. I mean,
Because of that,
because we are not, we are trying not to have that happen. Please, please, please.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Only Wednesday?
I know, right?
It feels really long this week. It was just a good day yesterday or today, I'm just like, God, help me. And then Olga called me. She said she was ignoring her, she said they do that.
I applied for an NBC News desk position. They just emailed me to do an interview. I'm wondering if I should do it from 5 o'clock in here. Yeah.
They just emailed you about 5 o'clock?
They just emailed me and like it's a meeting. Like they have like.
Oh, you should definitely do it.
That's actually crazy. It's only appointment slots for today, tomorrow, and they literally just emailed me.
You should definitely do it.
Just do it. Don't do it during the presser, but.
Well, if you really want to impress them.
Do it from the goal.
What's the job?
Just a news desk assistant. But it's not freelancing. So that's all.
But you're trying to get it right away from?
Yeah, I'm going to law school next August, so anything to get me through then that's not freelancing. This is crazy, dude. I think everybody's probably just still upstairs there.
No, it's not starting. We were talking about 4, we were talking about 4:30, maybe because of the vote time.
Can't do that. Yeah, just do a safety issue, because for sure.
I think votes start at 4:45.
Doesn't even matter what the other one has. There's
What
safety
if we did
issues.
4:30?
So, no Rayburn Tunnel or Cannon Tunnel.
You
I know you are not here, and this is still part of the CDC, but as soon as you make that turn,
We're usually like
just go to the tunnel.
25 minutes.
And because Amy's already talked, so
If I
like,
Greatest automobile in Western. Do you know who the other successful car dealer owner? Yeah. Alright.
So is this your, like, you will never get to it, you know, like, first time in DC, or did you have
One, two, one, two, one, two.
Yeah, I had never been, I was like,
Wow, you're pretty not.
So, how you doing?
How you doing? Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. You might be the only one who raised my hand.
Once I started.
It's like I see there's no question.
But there was also.
It's like I raise my hand and then he's like questions, and then somebody else raises it immediately. And then he does it like 6 more times.
He's like, well, she has a lot of questions.
Yes, you in the second round. And then me, no, not you. You're just nicely corralled. Cognitive. Yeah. No. I'm in good spirits.
You're trying to.
This one's a rough. Today I put in our signal chat. I will continue to publish classified information in accordance with the times we sold and
Oh, the border patrol?
I think I didn't miss it. I texted.
Oh, yeah. Comparing it to this, that's the thing I did. Did you see it?
I legal rights.
You were trying, he was like.
He just doesn't think it's fun.
Which first guy, something she goes. I didn't put on sleep. You did. I put on sleep until you went.
Maybe that's it.
So.
I know, I hate to do that. You're the first person to say something, but I know.
I've known this.
Oh, I know. I know it's disgusting.
Or the Rachel Benega was not a gang member. Should you separate these two, like different cases, and treat them like the same thing? He's gonna have a big one.
You gave that up because on the first time, I'm not gonna come. I started like, oh, you chill.
And I was like, cause I lived in Compton, like I wanted to, and then he's just like, you know how long it was, right? He said, I guess.
So, let me let you guys say. So, okay, yeah.
You're 5'2"? Of course.
Yeah, I'm sure it has nothing.
I used to fill this up in my coffee and bring it to your yesterday.
Good, guys.
I already took it.
I know, right? So you're making it worse?
I'm not gonna come.
And Daddy.
Same. Now, tea.
You don't drink coffee? Neither. What tea do you drink? Yeah, what? Yeah.
Oh, it's caffeine, it's just, if I have one coffee, it's like that.
No, I also.
Yes.
You like chai?
I think so. English breakfast. They're very boring.
Okay. always quiet now, always sends like email invites, and I don't understand why, I'm just texting her, I don't have any time. I do. I'm trying not to think about it, I don't know, see, it's fine, I don't have to think about it, you're strong.
Did you already give me the mic?
I'll go get it.
I'll let you know what kind of day I'm having. I don't have to know.
Oh, they like took a picture of somebody else's camera. That's really funny. More people should do that. She'll see it five
Like, it's not fun. But it is, but that's like what today has been, so that's why I was explaining, like, in addition to normal things. Yeah. And then, of course. And I was like, oh no!
Killed the duck.
Well.
That is such a,
Oh my god.
yeah, I was thinking not to be an elitist, but I do think if you're a producer on a national, you should know, she would probably, she definitely should be in the top 10 senators that like you, the producer of political news, should go to face. Probably fine. It's great to receive. Noted, yeah. Rest of us.
Introduce myself to you.
I think we're involved.
Susan Gallant.
Oh, I would just be like, yeah.
I'm actually not able to admit that I don't know better. That chair.
Oh, you know what?
I feel like I know.
He's a lot.
I would do put in the rules between guys.
Okay, I'll give it a shout out. All right, bye.
And it'd be a question.
News also.
It would work better.
Right out.
Good afternoon, everyone. Approximately a year ago, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. And he indicated that he was going to bring about a golden age in this great country. What Donald Trump and the Republicans have done as a result of their toxic, extreme policies is bring about a rotten age in the United States of America. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers closing as a result of the Republican One Big Ugly Bill. Republicans are refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and that's going to create a situation where tens of millions of everyday Americans will be unable to go see a doctor when they need one because their premiums are skyrocketing out of control, in some instances increasing by $1,000 or $2,000 per month. The Trump tariffs are making life more expensive for tens of millions of working class Americans. And the Trump administration has unleashed these lawless, masked ICE agents to brutalize American citizens, even resulting in the unjustified killing of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. 1 year later, the Trump administration has been a complete and total failure, and the American people know it. And Republicans haven't done a damn thing to make life better for working class Americans, everyday Americans, and middle class Americans. Despite promising that costs were going to go down on day one, costs haven't gone down in the United States of America with Republican control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Costs have gone up. Inflation skyrocketing out of control. Housing costs out of control. Grocery costs out of control. Utility bills out of control. Child care costs out of control. And health care costs out of control. Everyday Americans are suffering under the oppressive nature of the Trump Republican economy. And it's time for some congressional action to actually keep your word as Republicans based on what you said you would do, which is to focus on addressing the high cost of living in this country. Instead, Republicans have consistently focused on rewarding their billionaire donors with massive tax breaks, and then engaging out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country. It's disgusting, and the American people know it. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Today, Congressman Banadar said that he plans to introduce legislation to abolish ICE. How comfortable are you with members of your party pushing this?
Haven't had a conversation with the congressman on that particular piece of legislation, but our position has been clear that taxpayer dollars are being used by the Department of Homeland Security and ICE to brutalize American citizens and law-abiding American taxpayers in ways that the American people reject. The American people didn't sign up for what we're seeing on the streets of Minneapolis, in Chicagoland, or in other parts of the country. The American people thought that the Trump administration was going to target violent felons who are here in the country illegally. But instead, we see American citizens like Renee Nicole Good being gunned down in cold blood without justification. Taxpayer dollars are being used by the Department of Homeland Security and ICE to unleash extremism on the streets of America by individuals who are showing depraved indifference to human life. That's what we're seeing. That's what the American people are seeing. And the American people don't want their taxpayer dollars used in that fashion. And so as we approach the appropriations process related to Homeland Security funding, Democrats in the House and the Senate have demanded changes to the way in which ICE conducts itself, such that it falls into line with the standards, protocols, and behavior of every other law enforcement agency in the United States of America. ICE cannot conduct itself as if it's above the law. In America, no one is above the law. And these claims of absolute immunity are insane, absurd, and completely unfounded in law or in fact.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. So the Supreme Court today effectively gave candidates the right to sue to challenge voting laws that they disagree with. Considering how Republicans have continuously called for election reform, do you have any concerns that there could be a flurry of lawsuits brought by Republicans ahead of the 2026 midterms, challenging voting laws in different states?
We're assuming that Republicans are going to do everything possible to prevent a free and fair election from taking place in November of 2026. Why? Because Republicans know that if a free and fair election takes place, they're losing. In fact, Republicans are going to get routed all across the country, as we've repeatedly seen, including most recently in the off-year election in November and in the mayoral election in Miami, where a Democrat was elected in early December for the first time in almost 30 years. The whole reason why Republicans launched this failed gerrymandering scheme is because they know what we know. The American people are rejecting their extremism and embracing the Democratic vision for making life more affordable for everyday Americans. And so it's clear to me that though their gerrymandering scheme is crashing and burning, despite all the skeptics out there who thought that Democrats in the House were cooked somehow, as if we were going to step back. No, we didn't step back, we fought back. And they started this gerrymandering war. We're going to end it. And we're not going to allow Republicans to artificially maintain their majority in the House of Representatives. We're going to show up and stand up and speak up continuously for free and fair elections, and that's what the American people are going to get on November 3rd, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Since the House passed the 3-year ACA extension, you called on Jonathan to, quote, stop playing procedural games that are jeopardizing the health, the safety, and the well-being of the American people. You said that there's a majority of votes in the Senate if the bill got to the floor. Are you calling for the Senate to get rid of the filibuster to bring forward this bill, since you say that it has the votes to pass if it made it to the floor?
The American people overwhelmingly support an extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. The House has passed in a bipartisan way legislation to make sure that those tax credits are restored for tens of millions of Americans, working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans who otherwise will be unable to go see a doctor when they need one. And these are in states all across the country, and disproportionately, red states will be the ones impacted by the failure to restore the Affordable Care Act tax credits. That's the reality. We're talking about states like West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, South Carolina, Texas, Alabama. These are the states that are adversely impacted, right at the top of the list. So this fight for us is not a partisan one, it's a patriotic one. We're standing up for everyday Americans. It's not red or blue, it's red, white, and blue, as far as we're concerned, in terms of the fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And the reality in the Senate is that a majority of senators, 47 Democrats and 4 Republicans, support a straightforward extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which means that the only thing standing in the way is that John Thune and Senate Republicans are hiding behind the filibuster to erect procedural hurdles to prevent the bill from being voted on in an up or down way. And I'll leave it to the Senate to decide, and my Democratic colleagues, in terms of how to best deal with that procedural hurdle at this point in time. But I've been on record for years now saying that things have to change in that institution if we are going to effectively deliver for the American people. Thanks. Got it?
Where are you on the stock ban bill, and what would you say to some in your conference who have argued that it doesn't go far enough, it allows for loopholes for members to still continue to trade despite the intention behind the bill?
There are several challenges with the bill as it's currently written, which is why Democrats strongly opposed it in the hearing and markup today. The so-called stock ban doesn't ban stocks. Let's start there. That's a problem as it relates to any meaningful prohibition on trading. The bill also doesn't apply to the president or vice president, which any reasonable American can conclude that if we're going to prohibit stock trading related to people who occupy positions of significance in their federal government, of course, the president and the vice president should be included. And third, this is not the only challenge, but the so-called stock ban bill is riddled with loopholes that you can drive a flying palace through. That's ridiculous. It's pretending to do something that is not taking place. And the American people are correctly demanding that Congress take decisive action as it relates to banning congressional stock trading, so there can be some confidence that their representatives in the People's House are conducting themselves solely with the public interest in mind, not their own personal interests. So if the legislation comes to the floor, we'll have a caucus meeting to discuss it and then stake out a position thereafter. But as of the moment, the words, actions, and votes of the Democratic members of the House Administration Committee speak for themselves. Thanks.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries. Since we last talked to you on Monday, there have been a growing number of House Democrats calling for ICE to be abolished. I'm curious, where do you stand on the issue personally? Do you believe ICE should be abolished?
Same answer that I just gave to that question earlier in this press conference. Kevin?
On the Epstein files front, we're about a month out from the deadline that was imposed as part of the law. Have you kind of decided on a best approach that Democrats can take here? Are you behind the inherent contempt push that Khan and Massey have kind of rolled out?
Here's the thing with respect to the Epstein files. Congress decisively and overwhelmingly passed legislation signed into law by the current president requiring the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files so that there can be transparency and accountability, which has correctly been demanded by the courageous, brave survivors of Epstein's horrific abuse. That's the law of the land. But the Department of Justice, led by the current Attorney General, have failed to comply with the law. And it certainly is reasonable that contempt resolutions should be considered, directed at the Department of Justice, if they refuse to comply with a law that on its face requires the disclosure and release of millions of documents that they are currently hiding from the American people. I think to date they've released about 13,000, but they're hiding millions of documents. The American people deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And it's interesting to me that if contempt of Congress should be considered for anyone, let's start with the Department of Justice. If the Republicans on the Oversight Committee were serious, that's where they would start. You have an actual law signed by the president, overwhelmingly passed by the House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, that is being actively flouted by members of this administration. You want to consider contempt for anyone? Start there. Otherwise, it's hard to take any efforts coming out of House Oversight Committee Republicans seriously. Thanks.
Congressman Crow said today that he and other Democrats who were part of that Don't Give Up Shit video in November have been contacted by the DOJ since then. How are you counseling those folks about handling the outreach? Do you think they should cooperate with DOJ?
Well, that's going to be a decision made between the members of Congress and their legal representation. We're going to make sure that they have the highest quality legal representation. We stand firmly behind them. They did nothing wrong. These members of Congress did not violate the law, and the Department of Justice continues to weaponize the criminal justice system to go after people who express dissent or stand up against the extremism and corruption of the Trump administration. Here's the thing. Let's be clear to the Department of Justice. You're not intimidating any of us. None of us are intimidated by your actions. The Department of Justice is filled with unqualified political hacks. You're not intimidating members of the House or the Senate on the Democratic side. Your efforts are futile and will be defeated, as has been the case with the attempt to weaponize charges against my own Attorney General, Tish James, where Americans now are saying enough with these phony, fake, and fraudulent charges. So we'll handle each of these situations as they emerge. But clearly the intention from the beginning of this administration last year was that they were going to try to steamroll Democrats in the House and the Senate, steamroll the American people. It has not happened. Republicans are the ones who are being steamrolled electorally. And here in the House of Representatives, they can't even legislate. This group of people, they don't know how to organize a two-car funeral. They're losing votes week after week after week. The whole thing is falling apart. And so the notion that we're going to be intimidated by these toxic people who the American people are rejecting, these toxic people in the administration, it's not going to happen. Has not happened, will not happen, ever. Well, there are a variety of different things that clearly should be done. No other agency is running around communities in the United States of America being masked up. ICE agents should not be masked up. Every other law enforcement agency, when they execute upon their mission, have warrant requirements. ICE should have warrant requirements. Back home in New York City, New York's finest, the NYPD, best law enforcement agency in the world, they all have to wear body cameras, as is the case with police departments and law enforcement agencies all over the country. ICE should be required to wear body cameras. Law enforcement agencies all across the country have policies that limit their ability to storm hospitals, schools, or houses of worship. ICE shouldn't be able to storm hospitals, schools, or houses of worship. There are a variety of different things that can be done that we have put on the table and will continue to put on the table to get ICE under control so that they are actually conducting themselves like every other law enforcement agency in the country, as opposed to operating as if they're above the law, somehow thinking they've got absolute immunity. They don't have absolute immunity. Supreme Court granted immunity, unfortunately, to one person, the President of the United States of America. It's one of the reasons why we've seen this extremism consistently unleashed on the American people, but it doesn't apply to anybody else. So every single one of these people who we see brutalizing the American people, they're going to be held accountable one way or the other, accordance with the law. And the statute of limitations, this is for every single member of the Trump administration, is 5 years. Donald Trump will be long gone. Left 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Statute of limitations will be alive and well. And there'll be a lot of people in this country, patriotic people, determined to make sure those who broke the law with impunity during the Trump administration are held accountable.
Will you vote no if you don't get those things?
The bill related to Homeland Security funding that was currently scheduled to be on the House floor this week is not on the House floor because it doesn't have Democratic support. So you're going to have to ask House Republicans what they plan to do relative to funding in this particular area if they continue to take a my way or the highway approach.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. Representative Ilhan Omar has repeatedly dismissed the $9 billion Minnesota fraud figure, but numerous people, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Minnesota representatives in the state, Chairman Comer, amongst others, have confirmed this number is indeed correct and see it as one of the largest frauds in U.S. history. Do you acknowledge that this $9 billion figure is accurate? And also, what do you make of the Minnesota House introducing resolutions to impeach Governor Tim Walz?
Well, I'm unfamiliar with resolutions having been introduced relative to the impeachment of Tim Walz. I assume that's some extreme MAGA Republican who has done it, so I don't take that effort seriously. And if you're citing James Comer as a source for me, you better start someplace else, because he's not an individual that has any credibility, as far as I'm concerned, relative to the allegations that he's made. If James Comer wants to investigate waste, fraud, and abuse, start with the Trump administration. Go look into your organized crime boss who's running pay-to-play schemes all across the country, shaking down corporations and individuals, launching retribution efforts against American citizens who disagree with him. That's the behavior of an organized crime boss. And taxpayer dollars are being used to run this toxic scheme. If James Comer is serious about waste, fraud, and abuse, go investigate what's coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the Trump White House. Now, as it relates to the allegations that have been raised in Minnesota, there are active investigations being run by state and local authorities who actually do have credibility to uncover the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Follow the facts, apply the law, and let the chips fall where they may. Thanks.
Thank you, Leader. As more and more members of your caucus call for ICE to be abolished, how do you feel that will impact Democrats who are in swing districts?
Listen, House Democrats are going to take the majority back. in November. Donald Trump knows it, Republicans know it, we know it. And the only question at this point in time is by how much? We're going to continue to fight hard to make life better for the American people. Lower the high cost of living, fix our broken health care system, make life more affordable, clean up the corruption that is preventing us from delivering a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And the difference between Democrats and Republicans at this point is very clear. The contrast is very clear. And voters are reacting to that all across the country, not just Democrats. Independents, swing voters, and traditional Republicans are recoiling at what they are seeing from the Republican Party. And what unifies Democrats is a focus on making life more affordable for the American people. Thanks, everyone.
they came away from their meeting with the White House officials understanding a different sense of all of this. I mean, do you think that the White House understands what you understand, that they don't need to take over Greenland? How did they message that to you in there?
I think it was made apparent that there were areas where they agreed to disagree.
So it sounds like that the White House is keeping open the option of using force to take over Greenland?
All we can share is what we heard from the ministers themselves who agreed that the discussion was surrounding continued and ongoing dialogue and discussions about security interests, but that there were areas where they simply disagreed. And I think obviously taking over Greenland was an area where they felt clear disagreement with any statements that have come out of the White House and the
Do you need a war powers resolution? Do you need to do a war powers resolution on Greenland specifically?
I have introduced language in regards to that. We're letting it germinate now to make sure it's there. I'm going to keep it on the shelf as an option should we ever need it. But I've offered that language, and we'll make sure to have it handy in case it rises to the moment.
Senator Murkowski, what about your legislation? Could you talk about the level of Republican support for the measure you have?
With Senator Shaheen? Mm-hmm. This is legislation that effectively acknowledges and underscores the role that we play as a NATO nation, working with our NATO allies, that we do not move against a NATO ally, and that no funds shall be expended to do so. So this is a message that I think is very clear and very strong, and quite honestly, one that I never thought I would have to author and introduce in the United States Congress.
What is your sense of the support for that? Do you think that you can actually get that on the floor? Do you think it can move? Have you heard anything about that potential?
I hope it's ultimately not necessary, but we are operating in times where we're having conversations about things that we never thought even possible. To use the word, the name Greenland in the context of a war powers resolution, to me is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, this is a fight that's making us weaker, not stronger. Number one, Greenland, Denmark are close allies. Number two, Greenland has totally cooperated with us in assisting any national security needs we have, as Senator King said. Number three, the rhetoric that goes from cooperation to threat turns our goodwill into bad will. And what the foreign minister told us is in Greenland they have lots of 4th of July celebrations. Communities are voting against funding them. So we have all that we can possibly want in the cooperation that will allow us to get all the national security assets that are required. And this process is undercutting that.
Military action against Greenland would be the most serious national geopolitical mistake this country could make. It would weaken us other than abandoning Ukraine. Those two things would absolutely weaken this country because our strength is within our allies. I've been on the Armed Services and Intelligence Committee for 13 years. What I have learned is that America's asymmetric advantage in the world is allies. China has customers. We have allies. Russia has neither customers nor allies. But we have allies, and to try to undermine and really eviscerate the NATO alliance by even discussing military action against a NATO ally is an inestimable loss of the not only the strategic advantage that we have, but just our basic geopolitical standing in the world. It
Not would just be NATO, a gigantic EU also, to an extent, with the economic power of EU, Canada, the United States to be able to leverage everything we can versus let China grow. If we do something stupid like this, we lose all that, and then it's just us versus China, and that is a hard fight and a long fight that we may not end up winning.
All right, final question. They called us in a vote. Congressional power, and especially Senators King and Murkowski, where do you think we are right now between the balance of power between congressional and executive?
Every day, Congress needs to assert theirs. Article 1, every day we should be thinking if we are fully asserting our authorities under the Constitution.
Is Congress right now?
No.
Some days, no.
Congress has abdicated its power largely. I'd say it's the 7th inning. We're behind 4-3, but the game isn't over.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just like a real.
Meet a Russell basement at 5.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Sit down. You get a little bit of a rest then.
I'm headed back too.
Hey, bye.